Welcome to our show In Conversation. Today we have with us one of the best known names of our industry, one of the experts of the dry bulk cargo, Captain Govind Gautam. He is Managing Director, Fast Freight Pte Limited. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you very much, Virendra. You've been very kind and really always good to speak with you anytime.
Thank you, sir. Sir, could you please give us a brief introduction about Fast Freight, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Virendra. The Fast Freight is a freight solution provider to the industry, primarily focused onto the dry bulk at this present. We are targeting to get into the offshore and tanker industry as well. However, for the time being, we are very much focused to serve the dry bulk commodity sector and to the all, but not only Indian but international traders, community, charterers relating to grain, coal, cement, you name anything, iron ore.
Sir, we are living in very uncertain times these days. I would like to know from you the factors influencing the dry bulk cargo trade and how geopolitical factors are influencing the trade.
Thanks for this question. This is a very good questions actually, which we are facing very much, and the entire industry has been affected. This is basically to do with the lot more impact on the shipping is happening because of the geopolitical situations. What we have started since the financial tsunami 2008-9, we were very pro globalization, and this has continued actually. And in fact, to some extent, it has helped the developing countries and to make the resource utilization. Somehow down the line, actually, the developed countries like US, Europe, all those countries, they're very developed actually. So there are a lot of development scope is there in the developing countries, and China have taken a lead into it. Basically, their Communist Party system where the governments are in better decision making. So they've gone very aggressive in order to control the manufacturing and come up with the quality products as well. So the world has become kind of a lopsided where they became the world's manufacturer for everything from needle to highest technology driven equipments. So somewhere down the line since the US election, Mr. Donald Trump has come he has been trying to change this globalization trend, especially the United States is kind of become nothing but a total importer. So the debt burdens are going increasing high. So these are all things that brought up some tussles, trade tussles between the US and China and the rest of us. So we are just facing the what you call the outcomes of it.
Sir, how COVID-19 has affected the industry, the dry bulk cargo trade, and I can say even your business?
Thank you for this question. That, as I said, is primarily is nothing but outcome of the U.S. and China trade war, and COVID to some extent is somewhere down the line is one of what is not my own view, but the global view. What we are looking at it is a man-made created situation as to who is more stronger. It looks like that's something because it started from China, and it has impacted the whole world now, except the China, which was supposed to be doing very well. They are doing a positive growth in the economic sectors, whereas the rest of the economies are going down. So we really don't know that their numbers, but the pandemic has affected very much, and because of that, dry bulk especially got a very much got a impact onto since last year Q4 to Q1, especially we saw the impact in the Q1 uh, in March. Hardly there was no countries were operating out of in Southeast Asia. Basically, we had 15, 20 days. India was almost kind of shut down by the time governments could figure it out. And then we saw from the April, May, June, the dry bulk has resumed, but it's not to the full extent because all the power sectors, cement sectors, steel sectors, everybody got impacted, got into the lockdown. So the demand is not there, though it's only one country, as I said to you, the China, which got very much control the stick situations, and they have been importing. So majority of the dry bulk shipping at this point of time is supported by the China demand.
Sir, we have seen lot of volatility during the last 1 year. If you talk about the Baltic Dry Index, how do you see it in the near future, medium future, or in the long term?
Right. So as I said to you, the dry bulks the segment, or I would like to just briefly touch upon to the tanker and the container shipping as well, that how this is impacted. Uh, I will start with the tanker. As we see that, many people were saying in the month of March or beginning of April, we saw the crude oil was even, negative. I mean, you have to pay, somebody has to pay money to collect the crude oil. It's just nothing but because of uh, the future price, or because cargo has to be lifted by somebody, and there was no capacity because oil fell, I mean, through the roof, had gone up below $10 actually. Uh, in fact, on the future price has gone to negative actually. So the factor highly affected because a lot of tankers, well, VLCCs owners, they traders, they kind of stored the oil, and we saw within a month, then again it jumped up by more than 200% actually to come up to the equilibrium. So this has been a tanker trade, but unfortunately, the oil has to be consumed by the consumers, and we see that due to the lockdown, the demand of oil has been still been not so much. So the prices of oil uh, has picked up over a period of time, but refineries are still, I think, under capacity, and somehow the world leaders, they are trying to control the oil prices, and so the tanker rates are very volatile during this time. They had gone to the roof, 250, 300,000 US dollar per day higher for the VLCC, which again has come up to, up to close to 50 and to normal standards, which was before. And clean and other trades, they are moving on an average basis as it was before. It has some spike. When it comes to the containers, container trade is still, we are seeing that impact, mostly because of that consumers still have not come back in the full capacity to consume. So we still see the goods are not moving from the shelf. So the container shipping is very much affected out of three, if you ask me, tanker and dry and container. Uh, It will take some time before the people confidence can pick up. When it comes to the dry, as I tell you that majority of the countries, very much affected by the COVID, and consumption's center is nothing but India and China. So we saw that China has been continuously consuming, but there also their production have come down drastically. But they cannot send their people also to the mining and other sectors. So we saw that there is very continuous demand for the coal and the other minerals, iron ore factories. They have their own in-house consumptions even. So that has kept the shipping down, but we saw a good comeback from the third quarter, you can say. Up to the second quarter, the BDI has touched lowest, I think, in last 2 years, up to 400 points. So it has I mean, and now we saw in the month of August, it has gone up to 2,000 points. So from 400 BDI to 2,000 points means five times jump into the dry sector. So the FFA for the, let's say, for the July, for the in the month of June, for the Q3 Q4 was trading at 8,500 for LME, which went up to close to 14,000 actually. So, I mean, you see the big jump, and the reason is that basically the seasonality always kicks into it. So, all those traders and operators who are closely monitoring the markets, I'm sure that they might have been able to take the advantage of this seasonality kick in, and must have secured the FFA or options or the vessels in time. All those who have not done or who has not taken the positions or covered their future freight definitely must have got the severe exposure to it actually. So one side you see there was a market which was null. There was nobody believes into that due to the COVID etc. the freight will never go high, but the same freight which has gone up by $5,000 per day for East Coast South America around, if you ask for 90 days to $450,000 means if you divide by 60 it was $7 to $8 jump. So this is the kind of volatility what we see in the market. And again, further, I would like to tell all those people who are into the dry bulks that we have to somewhere down the line go deep to analyze the markets, look at the futures and past, and how where are the curves, and we have to. I mean, it has to go hand in hand. As an operator, we have the three models of business where we are doing the spot back to back, basically no brainer. You have got a cargo, you got a ship, you are matching it, and that's the business. But idea is that in order to go to the next levels, people have to invest their time, energy, people to understand these curves so that they can take really the advantage of the markets. Because now again, you see that via markets are, I mean, and the Kamsar, if you ask me, around Q4 is around close to 14,000 levels. On LME is around 13,000 levels, actually, close to 13,000 levels. And the Q1, Q2 is still around 10,500 on LME, which means 11,500 to 12,000 on the Kamsar. Whereas the physical, if you ask me right now, it's not the periods are going at 14,000 levels, so maybe around 12,000 on Kamsar. If you look at it for a year, you can get it. Still, that is a bit risky because only for these 3 months you can see the curves are supporting, but after that again, curves are not supporting. So, but we have to be ready to buy, sell, take some cargoes positions using the these index. So I think from the operating perspective, it is very, very important to understand these curves. And from the owner's perspective, it is very important as to be able to hedge their risk actually. But I see that we were all the entire Q1 and Q2, if you see that average settlement of the index may not have been beyond uh, 8,500 to maybe maximum 9,000, what I see, but maybe lower than that. But still now the curves is showing 11,500. So if I am a owner, if I am having the assets, I definitely like to hedge and to seek the minimum return on my vessels by going short actually for those years. And so this is a tool for not only for the operator or for trader, but is more important for the owner who has the asset in hand and has to find a way that how can he sustain his OPEX and CAPEX. Thank
So
you.
that brings me to actually one very interesting question because you are a very well-known operator and you have been in this business for very long. So where do you see the opportunities as an operator?
As I see that as an operator, we have got nothing but all our knowledge and knowledge and knowledge actually. That is the key thing which we have to leverage upon. Of course, our relationships. Apart from the knowledge, we have to have our relationships. So that we can seek the support of the owners in good time when we see the markets are favorable, because the owners not so much proactive onto taking the hedge, etc. They have to service their debts to the bank. They just want to have the hedge, some $1,000 per day TC. So that is where I see there's the advantage for the owner, that we have to wait. Operator, as an operator, we have to wait for the right opportunity when the market, we see that as a kind of an optimal level. We should try to go onto asset, but also to keep an eye onto the derivatives. What is the futures, and be ready with the hedge strategy. That in case if the market going down, then you should be able to sell the paper to be able to recover. Then you have to run a lot of correlations as well. So, and then when the market is right, like right now, the Q4 and all is quite good level. So if you see that we have good relationship as a trader, they don't want to be speculating. They have to have the fixed physical freight. So we as an operator can go and support them as a freight, and then we take a hedge again as a swap actually. If we thinking that market will go ahead, then we should go and long actually on certain periods. Uh, but this is the opportunity which I see, that apart from the spot, that we have to go long and short in order to take the advantage on the tonnage or on the cargo.
So you have been associated with the Indian shipping also for very long. What policy changes in Indian shipping industry would you suggest for making India attractive for the investors? You have been in
Thank
Hong
you.
Kong, you have been in Singapore, you have
Yeah.
been in Dubai.
Thank you very much, Virendra. Actually, I've been, most of the time I've been a speakers on the Coal Trans conferences, Metal Junctions, on your conference as well, and our Endeavor Creatives. We have the shipping seminar every year. So most of the time we see that participation of the governments as such, or DG Shipping, or the uh, our government bodies are missing actually, and shipping has not been recognized. Unfortunately, for a country which has got 7,500 kilometers of coastline, an abundance of opportunities when it comes to the leveraging the shipping. Unfortunately, we are far, far, far behind than many even smaller countries. Like say, if you ask me in the shipping, number one country could be Greece, China, Japan, Korea. These are all the top 4, 5 countries. We are nowhere. We have only, in the name of Shipping Corporation of India, and to some extent Great Eastern Shipping. Rest all are very small companies. So what I feel, first of all, if we look at from the top perspective, and if I am in a decision-making role as a India, as given any opportunity, so most important that we are bleeding billions of dollars in terms of freight imports. The government, our dollar is going nowhere, uncontrollable. So somewhere down the line, we have to find out that where are major our expenses going in foreign reserves. We are. If you, as I said, that even I am today operating as a Singapore-based company, it means that whatever the revenue is, income and expenses going outside Singapore country, or same way is going, many companies are from Germany, from the US, from the Europe. So all these billions of dollar freight is being serviced by the foreign companies actually. 95% of, maybe you can say, is the freight is being serviced. 5% is only being maybe the Indian. So first of all, as a company, if I am there, it's like, if I given to choice that I have to live on this house, so you would like to go 75 years on the rent, or you would like to buy your own house. I would definitely like to buy own house, right? So this is somewhere down the line at a government level, not able to think. Nobody has been able to give up. Previously, like especially the Congress government has never given so much of thought about the shipping. This current government, I really hats up to them. Salute to Mr. Nitin Gadkari, Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and now the Mr. Mansukh Mandaviya, and whole regime of the central government is looking towards as to speeden up the reforms which has not taken place for almost decades. So this is something where the government should come forward, catch hold of the hands of those people, Indian origins, or those who are interested, as to raise at a government levels, billions, if need, billions of dollar government can raise. They are already making roads and railways and whatnot, airports, so much of investment going. But what is the name of shipping? Nothing. So if we give a contract for 10 years, let's say, which has been supported for the sale, that the sale, all the cargoes will be carried onto the Indian bottoms. Suddenly you'll find that we have an Indian ship, we have got a Indian owned, I mean the money is staying within that. So you will find there's so many people, thousands of people will get employment. And when
Very,
you have the
very
people
correct point,
employment,
sir.
then you will go for the
Yeah.
knowledge. You will find that quality knowledge will come, quality institution will arise, quality legal will arise. So it's a vicious cycle which has not, unfortunately, been uh, started. Even if you see, look, the small place like Singapore has been catering all our needs. What they have done, nothing in the terms of shipping or trade. They just become a facilitator. Even they are having the tax holidays. I mean, for 5 years, 10 years, very reduced tax for the traders and shipping. Why? Because they inviting that, they are giving you the platform. Then in terms, when you are to recruit a people, you will not come to and recruit from the overseas. You will recruit the people locally. Plus that money is coming into the Singapore banks, and then you are investing on some certain expenses, etc. So the government should also look at it, coming up with some kind of uh, like free economic zones, some areas like Mumbai, Maharashtra, or South Chennai, or some places, some scheme where we invite foreign people, like government has reduced this tax on the manufacturing. Same way they can do some incentivization to the shipping company so that today, why should I need to go to Singapore or to other places, We set up the shop here, we generate the employment here, we own our own ships, we carry our own cargoes. We don't need foreign ships, they're carriers, They're just done it. It's like a truck, We don't have our own trucks, so we are firing somebody. So ships are like that actually. So somewhere down the line, there has to be a firm belief because government comes for 5 years, 10 years. Nobody is able to think long terms actually. So shipping really needs some long-term views and investments, and people need to be given confidence. Their debts, etc., is to be serviced. Of course, at the same time, you have to have a regulatory structure where no, kind of siphoning of money or funds, etc., happens because so those are all depends again on the governance of the country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And it's a very, very valid point. And I'm very sure that note will be taken of this and things will improve. Thank you very much for this time, sir. Very valuable time. And I wish you a great weekend ahead.
Thank you, Virender. Thank you. It's always pleasure and wish you all the success to the Shipping Tribune. And pleasure always to talk to you, discuss to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
a great day.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.